Hello, everybody. Welcome back. That's right, everybody. I am the Lord of the Zombies. And that's right. And also, you guys are seeing a new filter, by the way. If you guys didn't know, I got a new filter. So, pretty much it's called Blue Air, but whatever. So, let's just go ahead and make the talk exactly that I also want to probably say to everybody in the PBZ community exactly. Of course. Well, I actually just want to say this that if you guys have heard of something called Clippy, by the way, like it's way back old. I think it was like way back. I think it was like way back. But nevertheless, I probably will want to explain this to everybody here exactly for knowing what Clippy is. By the way, I think it was like an old something like way back or something. It was like pretty old, but it was pretty old. So let's go ahead and explain it. So, what Clippy is, by the way, is a pretty old something way back. I think it was like way back before pretty much like it was still Microsoft and stuff, before it was like pretty much that exactly. But, it was pretty much like when it was like back in Microsoft or something or whatever. But no worries, pretty much exactly. And don't worry, it was just me using my finger that I was just tapping that exactly, which I was just tapping the laptop exactly. That was just tapping into the bottom exactly. It just was just the bottom exactly I was doing with my finger. But let's just get back to the point. So, by the way, what is my opinion about Clippy, and then also with Clippies? So let's just say that I probably will say this to be honest with everybody else here exactly. In the PVZ community exactly, is I definitely did want to say, by the way, is that, well, I just want to say this exactly is that it's a pretty smart move. Not most of any YouTubers get to do any of this, but at least it's a good thing that it's like pushing YouTube's update or something. That's probably the point exactly. But if you guys have heard of the news already, well, I hope you guys did exactly, which it just isn't a smart move, I think, which, by the way, you guys know what I'm referring to since I probably will still not say. But let's just say right now about Clippy is that, well, Clippy is a pretty okay familiar icon, a little bit like way back, I guess, but now when it's in the present, that, oh yeah, Clippy just returns back exactly in the 2025, which is pretty crazy, which I'd say that's a long amount of years, but trust me, it's crazy right now. It's just crazy. And why is that crazy? Well, I just think to believe it kind of is, since I probably don't know what the heck that even is about Clippy. So let me just give you guys a little bit of a short run. So Clippy is, by the way, is something like pretty old. That it's supposed to be known as an assistant, by the way. That is supposed to kind of help, not destroy, but just help. So why does it help? Well, for example, it just tells you like if you like write something like it was like way old technology that if you like pretty much did something exactly like, let's just say for example you could like write a letter exactly and just like write a letter exactly by something or some whatever that you do exactly like write something like a letter and just do something like whatever basically like anybody else would do exactly. It's just write something, and then if it just like tells you to help you something like that, then it probably might help you or something. But to be honest, for some reasons I'll say this for frankly is that if I were myself right now, for what side I probably would take is just that I either side with like real people or just like AI. The answer is absolutely obviously saying is just like the first part I'm saying. The first part I'm taking. The first part, not second part, but the first part I'm saying is that there is probably some worth to say about like at least I'd say that there are like some possibilities that could probably go on exactly for whatsoever. But let me just say at the point of my end exactly, it's just that A, By the way, I think in the community of the PBZ community, would totally would actually would like stand up to pretty much likely YouTube's update and just decide to actually get them to like redecide exactly and redecision it exactly just to like go to the pretty much the politician exactly to like pretty much like save the site exactly and automatically have YouTube just like make a redecision exactly and just see where this all goes exactly. But this is just a little bit more less of talking about it than it's probably just going to be full on at it. But like I said, this is just a little of me saying so. But let's just get back with the Clippy. So Clippy, by the way, I'll actually say this. By the way, is just to be honest with everybody, is that Clippy is pretty much something pretty interesting that I never get to hear before. That I've actually said this that I've never heard of any Clippy before, but this, by the way, actually makes a lot more sense and pretty much some points of sense to make exactly, which I never heard of anything like that. But that's actually pretty crazy when that's actually pretty possible. So it is pretty crazy, and I'll admit that it's pretty crazy. So that's just all I want to say. And as in for such, I'll actually say this, by the way, and a fair amount of odds, by the way, is that if something's like going on exactly like, I don't know, like some kind of protest going on exactly, which that's probably going to be foreseeable exactly, which, by the way, I think that's going to probably be an option that I don't know what YouTube's going to start thinking exactly, but seriously, I'm saying this is like, bro, what are the heck are they thinking? Like, the heck are they thinking? Like, or should I say, what the cattle are they even doing? Exactly. Or I was trying to do an accent by caterpilling or something. I don't know, but it's just like an accent anyway. But let me just say, it's like, what the heck are they doing? Like, that's not how that works. Like, I don't get why the site probably would go down exactly, but bruh, that's just like going down to the rabbit hole, man. That's just like going way down the bottom. Like, man, there should probably would have been somebody else that probably would have like stepped in exactly and would do pretty better exactly. But I'm just not going to make like too many offenses or anything or like insults to say, but I'm just going to like have at least zero anyway, just to say at least zero. But anyway, okay, let's just get back to the point. So, what YouTube's gonna probably either continue to keep doing it, keep on going and going, or just like keep this up exactly for what they're doing. Which, trust me, it's just that I don't know why, but I think I keep hearing like a lot of people are like boycotting YouTube exactly, which it's pretty crazy to hear. Which I don't know why, but I find this crazy to know why they even do it. But like I said, it's just that I don't get why that they just keep on like abling the update exactly just to have it happen. But like I said, I think in the end it's just gonna backfire, which I hope that everybody's actually saying that it's gonna backfire completely, which it still will again backfire, which I don't know how YouTube's ever going to gain from any of this, which that's just don't know why they're ever gaining any of this. But like I said, this is just ridiculous. Like, it's just ridiculous that I don't get why, how the heck is any of this impossible to do? Like, still, like, it's a massive mess. Like, I don't get why this is even pretty much something that's ever like something, but there is like three options that we can go on with is that either a that people need to stand up against pretty much YouTube and start telling them like go into like their feedback and like their email and start like talking to them easy and slow and just start like talking about the concerns exactly and just explain that from there and just explain it exactly and just talk about it and just trying to say like they have to like re-decision their whole thing exactly from scratch and just like yeah, I just am not kind of a fan of AI. Just want to let everyone else know that I'm not a fan of it. But like I said, I just really am not. It just really isn't for me. It doesn't suit me. But At least there's like a few good things I would rather appreciate. Is just like the three other sites that were pretty okay at least, which as long as they were pretty good, as if I was referring to what I was kind of saying. But if anybody knows or doesn't know, for the three sites that were good, that yes, still again, completely again, it's still going on to this day. It's just like 15.ai, fake you, exactly, Uber Duck, but let's just say by any chance right now that at least it was good while it was there, exactly. But to be honest with everyone else, I'll say this right now, folks, is that at least it was good while it lasted, and I'll admit that it was good while it went, exactly while it kept going and stuff, but you know what I mean. So, let's just get back to the Clippy thing. So, as in for Clippies, I think I kind of will respect Clippies. I think I'll actually respect that. And I might actually be a bit of a respect person to say that I'll at least have respect for Clippies, which, damn, that's actually pretty smart. Coming from a YouTuber that actually did like a profile pic and just added decide to go on with Clippy and decide to have something bit of like something like a paper clip or something, just add like something like paper or something, but you know what I mean. Honestly, you know what I mean. So that's something I never heard of, and that's something that I probably would have never heard of anything like that from like, I don't know, many years I guess. But seriously, it's just interesting, man. I just don't get why how interesting that is, but it's just very freaking interesting, but pretty much. So what I'm saying is that hopefully whatever's going on exactly is that I do have at least one or two to say is that either one that the whole AI is just kind of backfire. It'll just kind of backfire because why it's going to kind of backfire because of the boycotting. Well, it will still continue boycotting, which by any chance again, it's just going to fail, like it's going to malfunction or something, which it's not going to do pretty good. Which I know it's smart, but sometimes when it gets it wrong, it's just not going to do slightly great, which it's just going to attempt to fail and it's just kind of going to go down. Which, by the way, we need to be a lot more careful and smart about this. A lot more smart than that. Which it just seems a little bit kind of off. You know what I mean? Just kind of a little off. But, that's just what I want to say. And that's just my part of the story. And that's just why I want to talk about that. It's just like a couple of reasons that everyone is just predicting that it's just going to backfire, which I actually agree that I hope for the same thing too, which I just hope for the same thing at least, hopefully. But like I said, if this keeps going on, I don't know why, but like I said, I hope people continue talking about that nonstop, which for me, by the way, this is just like a one thing talk about that exactly, just like at least one exactly, but there'll probably be another one of me like explaining whatsoever that I don't know. How am I going to explain the next one? But whatever. It's just something else besides Clippy. But let's just get back to the point of what I'm just saying. So, as in for what we're talking about now exactly is that, well, at least hopefully the Clippy arise and clip thing that rises, I guess, but hope so. And I mean, I hope it actually does kind of help and it kind of actually has the way of the assistance, I guess, but whatever it is, I guess. So find out, we're going to see what happens, and I just hope to see what's going to go on, but at least we are just going to find out and see, man. We're just going to find out and see, but you know what I mean. So all I want to say is that we're just going to see what happens, and that's just what I want to talk about right now. So if you guys feel the same way as me, and don't worry about that, that was my finger again touching like my laptop exactly. That's just the keyboard, which I'll say it's just the keyboard, but let me continue on back. So without further ado, I'll say this one more time and again, is that people could have three routes that people can decide exactly. That's either like my community of the, or should I say my own community, and then of course the Plants vs Zombies community would have to start thinking about carefully is either A is pretty much start standing up exactly and just stand up and fight for what's right exactly, which I think most people probably would be smart enough to do that. And then, as in for the second one, I think it's just wait and see what happens and see if something completely does. You know what I mean? So, whatever. And then number three, I'll say this that number three apparently would probably be either like not even say anything at all and just be for the second thing at least. It'll probably be for the second and third at the same time. So yeah. Anyways, without that being said, is I hope everybody actually starts coming together and starts like like seeing where this is all gonna land and see where this is gonna go. But like I said, for a few facts that, like I said again, it's just going to just backfire. And I mean literally backfire. Right back in the face, which, it's just not a smart move, I think. It's just isn't a smart move to be honestly, just to say it's just not a smart move, and it's just so again unwise and pretty bit unpredictable at the same time, which just doesn't kind of taste right. It's just kind of tastes a bit blim and just tastes a bit off and a bit disgusting. But never mind about the taste. But let's just get back to that now and just get back to what I'm going to just say at the end right now and just wrap this up. So, anyways, if you guys do support the Clippies, go ahead and do that. And I mean, we'll find out what happens and see what this goes on exactly. But there'll probably be possibilities that can go on exactly that might probably have each way what's going to go with YouTube, I guess. That's just going to go with YouTube, I guess. But we'll see. I mean, we'll just see where this goes. But for right now, I hope everybody still again enjoys this video, and I hope you guys will definitely again enjoy this. So remember, like always, is like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. So anyways, I am the Lord of the Zombies. Thank you guys again for enjoying this video. Like always, as I'll definitely see you guys once again, and fair enough, absolutely, in the next video. So remember, like always, is like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. Thank you. Anyways, thank you guys for taking the time and the pleasure to enjoy this. So without further ado, I'll see you next time. Take care, sign out, and we'll see you guys fair enough again, absolutely, in the next video. So thank you, and see you next time, everyone. Take care, have a great night, and I'll see you next time, and very much. Anyway, see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and sign out. The Lord of the Zombies. We'll see you next time.